Good morning, listeners. You are listening to the Internet Marketing and Business Solutions radio show with Ron Couming from RCS Technology Solutions as well as RCS Online Solutions, where we help business owners and entrepreneurs achieve even greater success by attracting, converting, retaining their ideal customers and clients using various provable metrics from internet marketing techniques to achieve that greater success. The purpose of this radio show is to bring on subject matter experts in the first 2 episodes, and in the 3rd episode I give away some free tips to help you have better success in your marketing. And we bring in subject matter experts from around the world. Steve, who I'm about to introduce to you, is a huge international speaker. He's calling in from the UK right now. Steve is a dynamic personality and a highly sought-after resources throughout colleges and other educational establishments, as well as companies throughout the UK, Europe, and the US. As I said, he is an international speaker. He has spoken in the U.S. I was just on a stage with him not too long ago in Dallas. He also speaks in Germany, Switzerland, Australia, Cyprus, and all over the U.S., including Houston, L.A., San Antonio, and most recently in Dallas, where I was with him. Steve helps young people and adults, business owners and entrepreneurs, to overcome self-defeating beliefs and habits that are holding them back from reaching their full potential and achieving their ideal level of success. He accomplishes this by challenging mindsets and developing a growth mindset through leadership. Steve is also the author of 4 books, Conquering the Fear of Change, Motivating Quotes, Book 1, Motivating Quotes, Book 2, and Steve can tell us a little bit more about himself, but I'm super happy. He's also known as the speaker with the orange tie. Steve, how you doing?
I'm well, young man. I'm well, yeah. God, love all that. That was awesome. Yeah. And it's great to speak to you, sir. We had an awesome time in Dallas, and it's just great to be on your show and just helping in the listeners to grow with the information that you have for people to listen to and understand, you know?
Yeah, that's excellent. We did speak on a stage recently in Dallas, April 20, 21, and 22nd. I believe you were the 4th speaker on day 1.
That was awesome. Yeah, it was a great experience. Big shout out to Eric Swanson and the family, the Habitu Warrior Conference family. We just tore it up. It was great stuff. You were just dynamic. Love the stuff you were saying. And, what you're doing here is so important, because it's about what you have to show as an individual, as a business. Doesn't matter how good you are. People can't see it. Doesn't make any difference.
I love it. And that's how I started my presentation. No matter how good you are, if people can't see you or find you, you don't exist, right?
Yeah, and absolutely.
Yeah, and that's what we do. Yeah, that's what we do with the internet marketing. We help get people an online presence so people can find them and then hire them opposed to their competitors. But also, when I heard you speak, you were the 4th speaker, if I'm correct. But when I heard you speak, I just knew instantly that you were a fit for this show, a fit for these listeners, and I wanted to have you on the show, and thank you so much. You're calling in from England. There's a big time difference here, so I appreciate you modifying.
No problem.
Yeah, modifying your schedule. I know you. I'm a big fan. And just so you know, before we get into the interview, Habitu Warrior Conference, Eric Swanson, he was just here for a few days. He just spoke at Harvard. I was there on Saturday, too, Harvard University.
I saw it on Facebook, yeah.
Yeah, but he's doing that. He's coming to Boston. There's going to be a conference here November 9th, 10th, and 11th. So I hope I get to see you then. I'll be speaking from the stage at that time, too. But
awesome.
So speak to Eric if you want to be there.
He's given me a shout already, so he wants me up there. So it's going to be great stuff. Really looking forward to that.
Excellent. And I have to say this, you calling in from across the pond, mate?
I am, mate. Love your London accent there. That's good stuff.
Yeah. So you're calling in from England. I've listened to you. I'm a big fan, but can you tell the listeners a little bit about who you are and what you do beyond the introduction that I just gave?
Yeah, well, I'm known to speak of theorangetie.com. Really, very briefly, the orange is me. It's who I am. And originated, I do wear an orange tie, orange shoes, orange socks. I just love the color orange. But it originates from the American Indians because the color comes from learning and growth. I used to be a teacher, and I always believe that when a student leaves your classroom, they have to be learning more than what they did before when they came into your classroom. So orange is me, the energy. Honestly, orange kind of represents being energizing, and as you said, you've seen me on stage, and I think you have to be able to give an energy, especially if you're speaking to people that are maybe not quite motivated or they're lacking that direction. If you've got someone there that's giving you that energy, that's often what happens in an audience that picks up your vibe. Being bold is another thing I think orange is. A very bright, bold colour. It stands out, which I believe I am as a speaker. Bright, not just the colour. I'm talking about mindset, which we'll talk more about, but being positive about how you feel you can be as an individual and differences you can make to other individuals. Vibrant, as you've probably been there before, you've eaten an orange before, and you can smell someone's eaten an orange. And what happens, it gives off these molecules are bouncing around. Two more. Engaging is what I aim to be as a speaker. I've been speaking for many years now, so engaging people and taking them to where I believe they can go. And finally, memorable. I think in all of the things, I was listening to that previous interview, which is awesome, by the way, is that those tips that the guy was giving off, it's important now you take that as a thought and you turn it into an action. So, these things we're doing here, I think is very powerful. But if people are not going to take action, it's a waste of time. So all of those kind of 6 elements encompass me, the speaker of theorangechai.com, and what I do around Europe and around the world, which is getting people to look at leadership and realizing that leadership starts with self-leadership.
I love it. And we can get to, some of the techniques that you use, especially for the adults and business owners and entrepreneurs. But I really appreciate the way you work with the younger people, the teenagers and adolescents, and then young adults, because not only are we can use the catchphrase, those are the leaders or the futures and all that, but I think one of the reasons that there is a lot of discourse amongst the young is that they haven't really developed the mindset to understand the emotional stuff that they're going through. And by not having that and not having a resource to talk to or to train them, they start acting out in some type of dysfunctional way, whether it's drugs, alcohol, hanging in the wrong crowd, watching too many video games. It's just, so I really like what you're doing for the younger. We'll get to the business owners. Can you tell us a little more about what you do for the younger crowd?
Yeah, very important. I mean, a quote I once heard that, if you look at a man the way that he is, he only becomes worse. But if you look at a man the way he could be, he then becomes who he should be. And I think you're right. The influence that we have as adults, and, I feel gifted and blessed to be in front of young people, is that you've got to get them to realize that it's about what you believe you can achieve. And it sounds a bit kind of cliche, but I've picked up this thing that I've always said when I speak, is that your beliefs determine your attitude. Your attitude determines the way you feel. The way you feel determines the way you act. And ultimately the way you act is what you gain from life. So your belief is everything. I mean, the clothes, I can't see you here, but the clothes you're wearing, the aftershave you're wearing at the moment, Ron, it's all down to your belief, because you believe, I like this smell, I like the clothes. This is the same for all of us, not just with young people but in business, but the young people in particular. Because with that belief, attitude, the way they feel, the way they act, what they gain from life, it's ultimately going to determine how far they feel and believe they can go in life. So I feel blessed to be able to influence minds. And at the moment, I'm going through a stage where I've got a series of programs that I'm delivering at the moment, and, the schools and the feedback I'm getting is awesome. But like I said to the teachers, it's about the action they take. I can put on a show and entertain, but if they're not prepared to take action after that, it's just a show. So as I've always said to speakers as well, it's not about you being on the stage. It's about what they're going to decide to do when you leave the stage. Yeah?
Correct. And I like that because you are empowering them. But I really like the cause and effect. So many times people focus on the effect and what's going on opposed to the underlying causal factors. And if you can address those causal factors, you can have, far more. Because even if you curtail some type of dysfunctional behavior, if those causal factors, those underlying factors that led to that behavior aren't modified, you can change it, but it's going to come out in some other dysfunctional functional way. So I'm a big fan on a personal level. I'm a big fan of what you do to help people too, especially the younger people. Because
and I've said, and like you said earlier, it's about what you go back to. And like all of us, when you have that belief, it's what drives everything you do. And when your belief then is underpinned and you get this result where you think, oh, there we go, that's how it should be, you then generate a momentum. And you know what it's like when you have a momentum? It's like a train track, and you've got maybe logs across the train track. If that train track is going at an awesome speed, there is no way those logs can stop that train because you have a momentum. And a lot of the young people I speak to in particular have that, dare I say, a negative momentum. So nothing's going right for them. Society's on them. Young people always being perceived as even unable to focus and all the rest of it. But you have to break that momentum, and it doesn't happen overnight. And this is one of the things I'm constantly saying to schools, colleges, universities, is that, yes, you will have that change, but you have to bear with it so it builds up a momentum, you know?
Yep, I like that. And now, even as we move it towards adults in business owners, entrepreneurs, they may have some, biased beliefs that are preventing them from achieving even better success. They may think they can't do this or whatever. And then the skill sets that you deliver to people, whether they're children or young adults or business owners and entrepreneurs, it's the same. You help people, the causal factor, whatever it is that's preventing them from achieving greater success in the business that they've chose to go into, you help people with that too, correct?
Yeah, most definitely. I talk a lot to, I had a business group I spoke to 2 weeks ago, and the gentleman in particular had problems just kind of overcoming that in his mind, that he could believe that he could generate more income for his business. And I sat him down and I took him through that beliefs, attitude, the way you feel, etc., etc. And when we really kind of whittled it down, he realized that he didn't believe that he could earn over $200,000 pounds. He didn't believe it. And so therefore his actions were then underpinning his beliefs. So he wasn't pushing himself to make that extra call. He wasn't seeing that client one more time to see if he can maybe upsell that product. What was happening to him, it was his beliefs. And, we can talk, I think, for days on end about how you can challenge your beliefs. So one of the things I'm often saying to people is learn how to suspend your disbelief. Let me just give an example. Have you watched a film recently, Ron?
Yes, a movie.
Yeah, movie. Yeah, a film that made you emotional.
Excuse me?
A film that made you emotional. Can you think of a film that either made you angry or it made you sad? Any film in particular? Yes. Yeah. Okay. What film was it?
Well, we can go back to The Wizard of Oz.
I hope we're not going back a couple of weeks, so are we going back when you were young? I hope we are, when you were younger.
Yes.
Well, I'll tell you what you did when you watched that film. When you watched that film, you put aside what I call doubt and disbelief. I believe all adults are carrying a bag, it's like a rucksack, with all of the doubts and disbeliefs that have been told to us over a period of time, especially people that are setting up businesses now, where people have said to them, you set up your business, you're going to struggle. Do you know how many businesses are failing? What happens? You put all of that into your rucksack, okay? Now, this rucksack weighs you down because it challenges your beliefs. But just like you were saying, you watched that film, Wizard of Oz. When you watched that film, you took the rucksack off, you sat down, and you believed everything you watched. And so therefore, you are easily able to put aside any doubt and disbelief and watch the film and become emotional. I spoke to a woman a couple of days ago. She was saying, I always get emotional when I watch Marley and Me, etc. But I still can't get my business. I don't believe I can earn over $300,000. I said, listen, you can. Because you can put that bag of doubt and disbelief when you're watching a film like Marley and Me, and it's not real. So why can't you do that about your belief in your business? Why can't you metaphorically put aside that bag and say, you know what, I'm not going to doubt myself. I'm going to do this, yeah? And the Wright brothers had to do that in 1903. They put aside any doubt or disbelief of being able to fly a plane, and they just went for it. So what I often say to people that are setting up businesses, in businesses, or having challenges, try and think of that metaphor, that rucksack, and think about taking it off and saying, you know what, I need to put this aside because I can do this. And to prove it, You watch a film, you become emotional. There we go, you've just done it. So why can't you do it for your own business?
Excellent. I love it. And that's what it really is. People have limiting beliefs that, are instilled upon us by people that we know, like, and trust over the years, and it's hard to break them.
It.
Yep. Steve, we're down to like 2 minutes. Can you please maybe give one actionable tip and then also your contact information? We got probably 3 minutes, about 3 or 4 minutes.
Okay. Well, okay. Let's start from living in the now. I think I heard it mentioned in one of the commercials. Dr. Wayne Dyer is just like amazing man who I followed for many years. And when he was alive, he spoke about living in the now. When you live in the now, the past and the future do not exist. Yeah. In fact, they're an illusion. You can't go and grab the past. You can't grab the future. You can grab now. So what I want you to do is look at where you are now and live in this moment. You can declare anything about yourself, your achievement, at this moment we're talking to you now, Ron, because no one can argue with you. Because if they do, they're possibly going to make a reference to your past or maybe your future. In other words, saying, you'll never be successful in business. What happened last year? That's irrelevant. We're living in the now. So that's the first thing I'd say, live in the now. Second point, ask yourself, please, you ask me a question now?
No, go ahead. I'm listening.
Ask yourself this question. How would the person you'd like to be do what you're about to do? I do this with myself all the time. Every time I feel like I'm drifting a little bit, I imagine that person that is a very wealthy individual speaking. I am speaking in various countries, but speaking in many more countries, standing on my shoulder, saying to me, Steve, you've done this program, but I wouldn't do it like this because I'm where you want to be. You need to do that again. I use this as an amazing technique to make sure that I'm always following the path I want to be on. So ask yourself that question. How would the person I'd like to be do what I'm about to do? And I write this down. I've got it laminated in my office. And I look at it when times are getting a bit weak. I look at those words. I think, he's right. Come on. How would I do this? So that's the second tip. Third tip, I mentioned this in Dallas, and it's a 3-2-1 rule. Basically, there's an awesome lady called Mel Robbins, and she talks about the 5-second rule, but I broke it down to 3-2-1. Very quickly, if you say to yourself 3-2-1, when you get to 1, something happens in your brain, okay? It's the prefrontal cortex that focuses on what needs to happen. I was in my daughter's assembly a couple of days ago. All the kids were talking. The teacher said, right, I want everyone quiet. And I thought to myself, that's never going to happen. She counted down from 3, 2, 1. When she got to 1, the kids were silent. And the science behind it, as Mel Robbins talks about, is that you focus the minute you hit that 1 because your brain is saying you have to take action. This is something I also do. When I'm feeling like I can't get up in the morning, I say to myself, Steve, 3, 2, 1. And on 1, I move. Gandhi once said that motion is the precursor of emotion. So just move. And once you move, your emotions have no say because you've taken action. So there's my 3 steps I'd say to you. If you're feeling yourself, I just need to find myself, I'm drifting, live in the now because that's the only time you've got. Ask yourself that question. How would the person I'd like to be do what I'm about to do? And then finally, try the 3, 2, 1, act on 1 and move. Don't ask a question, just move. Remember, motion is the precursor of emotion.
I love it, Steve. Thank you so much. And we really, we got like 1 minute, but I need to get your contact info.
Yeah, definitely. Now, the stuff I just spoke about, basically, I'm www.thespeakeroftheorangetie.com. If you go on there, there's loads of free stuff. The stuff I just spoke about just a second ago, the 3-2-1, you can download the slides because I've got that all explained so it's clear in your mind. It's thespeakeroftheorangetie.com/3-2-1. Okay?
That's amazing.
And also,
go ahead.
The same thing, /adult. So there's 2 PowerPoints I'm giving away that you can look at what I've spoken about and how to do it. There's also an audio which you can download for free, part of that. There's some sound motivational kind of me trying to sing, but I'm not singing, I'm rapping. I'm not kind of a rap, but you know what I mean? It's good stuff, it's motivating, and there's a goals chart as well.
Excellent.
All is
Steve,
just there to be on the website. Thank
excellent.
you.
So everybody, you need to go to the website, thespeakerwiththeorangetie.com /321, and there's some other great information there for you as well, totally free. Steve, it's been excellent having you on here. You've delivered tons of great actionable content and tips. Everybody, you've been listening to Ron Couming from RCS Technology Solutions on the Internet Marketing and Business Solutions radio show, where we help business owners and entrepreneurs achieve even greater success by attracting, converting, and retaining their ideal customers and clients using various internet marketing techniques and methods. Have a great day.